With this video, we're just talking about everybody's favorite subject, which is the tanks and our wastewater and how we use it and where it goes. There's been a lot of discussions I've had with other women in RVing where they're upset with their husbands because their husbands didn't check the tank levels and they ended up with dirty water in their shower, or it didn't work, and all these other things. And I really feel it's important that the women take responsibility for all those things themselves also, along with the husband. Check the tank levels, see what's going on, and know how to dump your tanks. I think it's very important, not just expect somebody else to take care of stuff for you. It's nice if they do, but you certainly should be able to do it yourself. So that's what this video is for, to show you how to do it if you want to. Thanks. On our recent tour at Dynamax, I got to see the chassis without the RV on top of it, and those two long black gray boxes in front of me there, that's the gray tank and the black tank. I was surprised to see how long and flat they were. I expected something that looked more like a box, but they're not. First thing you got to do when you need to dump is find a sign like this, because it tells you this is where the dump station is. Most campgrounds have them, and they will let you dump there for a fee even if you're not staying there overnight.
No, you're not going to need a hazmat suit. Dump stations are basically just a hole in the ground. This is a place where your hose can fit and you can empty your tanks. The Romans had to clean out their dump stations, although this isn't a dump station, it's actually a bath, but it did have to get cleaned out. This is where the water ends up, usually. Some kind of a water treatment plant. Something like this, or maybe something bigger. Here's a diagram of a simple RV water system. Up at the top is your holding tank, that's a blue freshwater. On the right, you could have your city water coming in as well. The water goes down to the sinks, and to the shower, and also to the toilet. But notice down at the very bottom, there's a gray tank and a black tank. Notice that the sinks and the shower only go to the gray tank, and the toilet only goes to the black tank. The dump valves are what Beth's going to talk about.
We have a Dynamax DX3, and the wet bay is a little bit different from a lot of the older models, but when you're doing at the dump station, it's basically the same process that you go through whether you have a macerator or not. So what you do first is you have to put your gloves on. And I have a theory that the longer you RV, the less likely you are to put gloves on, because I've seen it at many dump stations where the guys don't bother using gloves. Or they put gloves on, finish dumping, and then they're walking around touching everything with the dirty gloves. So it's better to use the gloves. I can't get it on though. And then dispose of them properly before you touch anything else when you're done dumping. So, gloves are on. This is our wet bay. This here is the valve for the black tank. This is the valve for the gray tank. You always want to do the black tank first, and then you do the gray tank, because the gray tank water will help rinse out your dump tube and keep the system clean. You also, when you're dumping, you have to make sure that your black tank has at least 1/3 to 2/3 full, and your gray tank should be 2/3 full also. If you're less than that, don't dump. Wait until it's fuller. If you can't, then you're gonna have to make sure you do a really good rinse in between. So you take your hose. I guess the first thing you have to do is look to see where your hose is supposed to go. We're parked at a full hookup site right now, so we have a hole in the ground right next to our camper. And this is our hose, and if you see, this is the valve that's on the tip of our hose. This will fit in any size hole that you run into at the various campgrounds and dump stations. You put that in, and you make sure it's in there tightly, and you notice there's a valve here that has to be opened before you can do the dump here. So I'm going to open this now. And then the other valve that you open is here. But with our system, we have a macerator, and the switch for that is right here. So we're going to open this, and then we're going to turn on the macerator. And now the water is flowing from the black tank inside the camper through here, the macerator, which is chewing on everything, and then it's running through the hose down there. You can hear the water running, and you just listen, and with our hose you can watch. Your hose should have at least one window in it that you can look through to see what's going down, to make sure it's still flowing. Okay, if you hear that noise, I'm not sure if you can, that is the sound of it being empty. I'm going to turn the macerator off. There's still a little bit of water running through the hose. And what we're going to do here, because we're at full hookups, we're going to do a rinse. When you're doing a rinse, we have one hose. We have one hose that we use only for rinsing the black tank. This is a gray hose. We know it's the one that we use for rinsing the black tank. This hose is never used for anything else. It's only for that. Okay. We have a Y connector for our hose. This is our fresh water coming into the camper. When you're doing flushes, you have to make sure this is closed. This is in the closed position. This is the open position. So you have to make sure that's closed. Keep this closed. Turn it on a little. Make sure the water's coming out. And you just screw this hose on. Now don't turn it on yet, because it's not connected over here yet. This we have a quick connect on, so it just makes it easier for connecting. Okay, so you're sure you're connected here. Then you have to go back here, turn your water on. Okay, so what's happening right now is there's water flowing from the water source into our black tank. This is open. The black tank valve is open when we do this, and basically we're just running water through the black tank to clean the bottom of it off, basically. When we do this, you don't run the macerator, it's just a gravity drain. So we'll let the water run through the black tank for about 5 minutes, and this just helps clean it out, gives it a good rinse. The manufacturers and everybody say you should keep the black tank valve open while you're doing this, and the main reason they say that is because right now you've got water flowing into your black tank, and if it doesn't have anywhere to go, it's going to end up in your bathroom coming out of your toilet, and that would be bad. You have to remember that your black tank is not a septic system. It is basically just a big plastic bin that holds everything that comes out of your toilet. So what you're doing is you have to get that waste out of the RV tank and down into the sewer. Doing the tank flush is something that we can do because we're here at a full hookup site. And also if you are at a dump station and there's nobody behind waiting, feel free to do this as many times as you feel you want to. But if you've got 2 other campers waiting behind you, this is not the time to do a tank flush. Just go ahead and do a dump, and then the next time that you do your dump, you might be able to do the tank flush. It's always important to be courteous to the other people if they're waiting behind you. Once you're done with your back flush with your black tank, the first thing you want to do is turn the water off here to stop the water flow going. And then you don't disconnect here yet, because if you disconnect here, chances are you might pull some black water out of your black tank this way. So you want to disconnect at the source first. And when you do this, be careful that you hold your hose up so it's not dripping on you. So what you're going to do is turn this water off here, like that. Now you don't have water flowing into this hose, and you can go ahead and detach. There you go. And then you roll this up and put it away. You're done with your back tank flush. You need to close your black tank valve. And now you're going to open your gray tank. So this, again, you just pull gently out. Turn on your macerator. And now the gray water from the gray tank is going to be running through the hose and going down the drain. And again, the gray water helps rinse out the pipe. And that's why it's important that you have at least 1/3 to 2/3 of gray water ready to be dumped. So now that it's done draining, you're going to take your tube and you just want to kind of lift it up to encourage the water to drain into the sewer. And once you feel you've got most of the water out of there, like that, then you're going to close this. You're going to close your gray pipe and you're ready to put your hose away. So just double checking you've done everything you were supposed to. Your macerator is off. Your gray tank is closed, your black tank is closed, and this hose we're going to roll up and put back in the bank. And that's dumping our tanks. We're filming this at a full hookup site, so it's a little bit different than if you were at a dump station. But here at the full hookup site, what you want to do is rinse out the gray water inlet, close that, and then open your valve for your water supply for your RV. You never want these both open at the same time. You don't want to have any cross-contamination, and that's something that you have to be careful of. That's it.
Who's cleaning up all this?
You are.
No. Okay, now that Beth has dumped the tanks, the next thing that has to happen is we have to put Dill Risers in both tanks, the black tank and the gray. These are two separate ones. These are kind of the ones we like, and it's simply based on the scent. A lot of people put different things in their holding tanks. There's a homemade concoction of Calgon, Lysol, and Dawn. People swear by that to keep their sensors clean, but in our case this works pretty good. Since we changed our sensors, we got rid of the standard sensor and put in a much better sensor. We feel we haven't had a problem with it since. And I'll put a link somewhere in this video, I don't know if it's up there or wherever they put it, to that video so you can take a look at that. Like I said, they work really good. But back to the thing in hand here, all we're going to do is take some of this stuff, this chemical, and we're going to put it a half a cup. This is going in the toilet. So it's going to be a half a cup of this, goes right in the toilet. I can tell it's a half a cup. I don't know if you know this, little handy tip for you. These solo cups, this is a half a cup. Up at the top is 2. All the way to the top is 2.5 cups. The little line at the bottom is 1 ounce. So if you're ever someplace and they're pouring you a beer, you can tell, if you got the full pour or not. But anyway, handy measuring cup. So half a cup. What this is going to do, I'll show you right here. Very simple. Put a little water in the toilet. Dump the stuff in. That's just so it mixes really good in the black tank. And flush it down. Now what this does is creates a film over the top of the water in the black tank, and it also has a scent to it, and it lubricates the side of the tank. So whatever goes in there is able to slide off the side of the tank, and hopefully it'll not go on your sensors and stay on your sensors. So that one's for the black tank. It's the same process for the gray tank, except for using a gray water one. I don't think there's much of a difference between them, but I put it in the same cup. I know there's some chemists out there who are going to be hysterical right now because I'm putting 2 different chemicals into one container without any regard to them reacting to each other. Let me say from experience, you have about, 10 minutes before this will explode. So, no, I'm kidding. This is just, it's basically the same chemical with a different scent. So we're going to take that and just dump that right down the sink. And that's going to end up in the holding tank. Rinse the cup off right here. And we're done. That's all there is to putting the chemicals into your tank. I hope you enjoyed our video on dumping your RV tanks. I think Beth does a really good job at it. We do take turns, although usually I do end up doing it. But she knows how, and she knows all the principles involved, and it's really not that hard. So As you can see, that's it. And we appreciate you watching. And be safe out there and have safe travels up and down the road. Come on.